Having responded from home, my attempt was to locate the command post, which in a high-rise fireproof building in the FDNY doctrine is in the lobby of the building. So I had realized previous to this time that the North Tower, which had come down right in my face where I was running towards, is now gone. So there's going to be no lobby. I had no idea the South Tower was already gone, again, having come from home. So I set about, rather than being in a high-rise firefighting procedural set of steps, reverted to what we do at collapse operations, which has a hierarchy of things that we do to discover victims. So obviously victims out on the surface, we're going to get to them first. And then we're going to penetrate voids, and then we take other steps. Like Chief Fox was then battalion chief in that area of Manhattan, one another. And it took some time for us each to recognize who the other was, because we're both completely coated in the toxic dust cloud to which he said this time, I got a 40-story building behind me going to beat the band and nobody around to put it out with. At which point, we then walked towards 7 World Trade, which was in fact the building of which he was speaking, which indeed had a number of fires on various floors. Fires in numerous locations are suspicious. I have the authority to make that call. None of what we were looking at in 7 was beyond our scope to extinguish. So he and I made our way over to the entrance of the building. Before we arrived there, there was a construction worker who happened to be, he emerged from the dust cloud and walked past the chief and I. And he said he had overheard the chief's comment, and he paused and said, that'll be coming down around 5 o'clock. We part ways, we arrive at 7, and there were 2 paramilitarily clad men with black rifles, sunglasses. And as we approached the entrance, they closed ranks and said, one of them said, this building has been secured, which is odd because in my experience in the FDNY, anybody preventing access to the fire department in the event of a fire, that's a criminal act. The chief and I were not in a position to argue the point, given the inequality in weaponry present, and headed back towards 7 now to the south of me, where I could see was still very much burning. And at a distance of a couple of blocks, I was further than I was from when the North Tower went, when 7 let go as well, and was also similar with, although not as loud because I was further away, a series of concussive explosions. There are acknowledged experts. We have a retired Chief Dunn, wrote the book Collapse of Burning Buildings. Chief Dunn could never possibly call with that accuracy, particularly for a fireproof building that was not struck by an aircraft. That building had no reason to come down. There's no history of a high-rise fire in a fireproof resulting in failure of the building, because the building is, in New York City parlance, a Class 1, which is a single word, fireproof. Even if the contents are totally incinerated, the shell will still remain.